My name's Corey Jackson in the real world. My alter ego is Alistair Wesley, also known as Tank. There is a story behind that we're not going to get into because it's a little personal. I am actually the resident locksmith of Airship Isabella. That is how I got onto the ship. I happened to break in one day, and then they found me. That was fun. The way that I actually met Airship Isabella was actually through Attica, who you interviewed earlier. She's been my friend for 10, 12 years now. Too long? Yeah, too long. And we were hanging out one time, and she's like, hey, I'm going to go to this event, meet up with some old friends of mine, and would you like to come? I was like, sure, I'll go. I was also the taxi, so, you know, kind of had to go. But yeah, so we went to this Sky Commodore's masquerade ball, and that's where I met Airship Isabella. And I was like, wow, these guys are really cool. I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. And you know, there was nothing really there. It was, you know, it was kind of like a first time meeting kind of deal. And then you know, she started keeping contact with them. And then a couple months later, we went to Dickens on the Strand in Galveston Island. And she was like, do you want to come to that too? I was like, yeah, why not? It was fun. So little did I know that 3 years post this, I would be doing this crazy crap that I'm doing today. But yeah, met up on Dickens on the Strand and helped them do their booth, sold goggles like a fiend, and that's kind of how it all started. I came in and I said, here are my hands, tell me where to go, tell me what to lift, and I am yours. And Captain went, don't tell me that. And I was like, all right, I like these people. And from then on, I've kind of been attached to them, and they can't get rid of me even if they wanted to. In the real world, Airship Isabella is a collective of artists that I look up to with the most esteem that you possibly could. Even being a crew member, I still look at them and go, how do you even, right? I mean, I can odd, but I can't even.
Very even.
Yeah, and it's just like, what goes on in here that makes that happen? Because that's scary. Anyway, so it's a collective of artists, and they, you know, it's a family collective because it's, obviously they live in the shop all together, and that's its own...
Haunted or not.
Yeah, haunted or not, and very much so. That was fun. I've been to the shop a couple of times, and it's just like, every time I'm there, I'm like, please don't follow me home. Stay here. Bother them, not me. But yeah, so it's kind of like a family. You know, we all live together, love together, you know, love each other as much as we possibly can from a distance, you know. But yeah, it's a collective of friends and family that is also a business trying to make it and doing the American dream. I mean, we started with nothing. I mean, Captain and Evie left their real jobs and said, no, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to be. This is the professionalism we're going to have. And it literally is the American dream of starting with nothing and now reaching to the top. I mean, we just filmed did all the leather work for Into the Badlands. I'm sure you've heard that already, but you know, just going from when I met them 3 years ago to that is so exponential of a growth that it's hard to even put into words. Because when I first met them, you know, a piece that they do now in a week would have taken them 3 months, 4 months. So now the skill level has just exponentially increased to the point now it's just like, I don't even, like, wow is the only thing I could really say. It's just like, gosh, guys, you're amazing. And it's inspiring to me to see the amount of dedication and work and care and passion that these people have. That's what it is to me. On the flip side of that, Airship Isabella is the dirtiest, meanest, nicest pirates in the world. It's a band of people that have come together through nefarious or other means to be all a part of the same crew, to have a same goal, who all have a similar goal, even though they all have personal goals. Everyone's together in it because we have to be. The storylines that we've created are so up and down and twisty and turvy that we've got so much involved that everyone has to be together in this or we all fail in everything, much less the crew mission, but as well as your personal issue mission. So I love our stories. I love every minute we talk about them. I'm just like, give me more, give me more, give me more. My winging ceremony came 2 years after meeting the crew at Dickens on the Strand. I did my first year of volunteer work, and then the second year I did my prospect ship of being told how to do things, when to do things, and because before it was like, oh, you're here on your own volition. We're not going to order you around. The moment you say yes to that prospect ship, though, here's a whip. Yep. Get to work. So that second year was the prospect ship. You know, that's where I got to know everyone a lot better. I was able to be a part of things, and when I got my wings, it was probably one of the proudest moments of my adult post high school life, outside of graduating from college, right? But it was definitely one of my like crowning moments of being a part of the crew and being like finally like, all right, no, these people are who I want to spend time with. The other hilarious moment, and this is one that is infamous for me, is actually exactly a year ago from this very day, minus 12 hours. We were out waiting for the panel that we did last night to start, and we were having food outside or whatever, and Captain sat in a aluminum chair, and his butt popped off the bottom of the chair. And he's like, my butt broke it. And I'm like, I wonder if I could bend this with my head. And no one says anything, so I take that for a yes. So I take off my glasses and go, wham, as hard as I could. Mid-impact, I realized this is a terrible idea. And I may have had a mild concussion.
Oh my God.
So I bent it though. I bent it about that much. And so then I have a nice red mark that's slightly bleeding as I walk into the panel. And I'm sitting at the panel desk, and I'm sitting there like, everyone's like, are you all right, dude? I'm like, I broke a chair. Another favorite, I mean, all the road trips that we take, they're obviously fun and memorable, each different than the other, but always entertaining. You would be surprised how long you could talk about the same video game, finding different ways to talk about different portions. Harry Potter is obviously one that we delve into all the time. We're huge Potter nerds. Everything under the sun comes out in these conversations, and you get to know each other really, really well when you're stuck in a car for 12 to 13 hours a day, this far from everybody. You get to know each other really well. So yeah, I wasn't able to be a part of that, but I did meet a lot of the people later on as they came to other events. I met Drew Hall, I met Horst, all the directors, and just meeting Drew alone was enough to make me go, this is important. Drew was so passionate about giving the community as a whole, sci-fi, steampunk, and otherwise, a show slash movie slash whatever that was the communities. Instead of it being Hollywood, we're playing this close to our chest, you have no say-so whatsoever, this is ours and no one else's. Drew was like, no, 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 no. Everyone loves Firefly. How many years later? We want something like that. We want you to be so involved in this that you feel like it's yours and not mine. Granted, I'm going to be like the end-all question, you know, like, you know, we're not going to have gigantic explosions every 10 seconds, you know, those kind of decisions. But he's like, no, I want your input. I want your involvement. I want other steampunks to come do stuff with this thing. Send me some gear. Send me some stuff. We'll put it in the movie. We'll put it in the TV show, whatever the case may be. He wants the community involved because he sees the passion. I mean, pardon me. When he first met us, the first thing he said was, this is the passion that I need. That's why we're bringing you in. That's why we're here for you. Why we brought you along is your passion for doing what you do, being the business that you are, is the community that we want behind it. So not being a part of the crew doing Aether, I got to be part of the A team, which is the Aether team of promotion. And I got put in second command for that, with Moira being the number one. And we've done several other cons outside of Airship Isabella, outside of Aether, and have taken the Aether stuff, several things you see here, and a couple of the banners and stuff, and we've taken to other cons saying, come watch our movie, like it on Facebook, Not selling anything, literally just being there for saying, hey, you guys like nerdy stuff, here's a new nerdy thing that you need to like, because if you like it, we'll get it. So that's what we've done, and it's been rewarding, because you meet a lot of cool people, you meet a lot of cool actors and stuff, like saying, hey, you're in the industry, we have people in the industry making a thing that's independent, but we don't want it to be independent. I hate the word independent because it is independent, because it's an independent filming company, but they're not an indie company, if that makes sense. Yes. So it's like, it's hard to give that pitch, because the first thing you say independent, they're like, you've got a little GoPro in the backyard and you're making a movie. And they're like, no, that's not what I'm doing. we have $10,000 cameras that if you touch them wrong, they break. No, that's not how this is. And then when you explain who's all involved, like, you know, Horst, who left Weta Works, he left Weta Works to work on this thing. I'm on film, Captain, not here. Save it for later. Yeah, so Horst, who left Weta Works, he left Weta Works to come work with Drew on this thing. That's huge. I mean, that's huge. Weta Works, the people who make Lord of the Rings, like the whole thing, they did it. And he left them to come work on Aether because he has such a drive for it as well. So meeting Horst, meeting Drew, getting to know Kim Bailey a little bit through the stories from them, you know, really seeing the passion that is equivalent to our passion for steampunk and the community as people, and con goers and con fans and anime fans, like, hey, come be a part of our world too. As much as we like doing that for you guys and everyone here, they're trying to do that for the sci-fi community as a whole. And that really resonated well with us. And besides the fact that Drew and Horst are amazingly fun people to be around, you know, it really resonated. Their drive matched our drive in a different venue. So like, instead of it being, it widened the horizon.
Yeah.
And as an airship, that's important. Fun. But yeah, so it really resonated with us, and that alone was enough to make me go, Aether's amazing, we need to do the thing. So go like it now. Aether Movie on Facebook. Now, Into the Badlands, let me just put it this way. Even if we weren't involved, I'd be as excited as I am about it, because it looks freaking cool. But the fact that we got the contract to do all that was just amazing. Now granted, I lost my crew for about 6 months because they were like, we have a thing to do, click. And I'm like, what thing? Like, what thing? We can't tell you. And they were like, no, seriously, we have 22-hour days for the next like 6 months. We're not gonna be around. I'm like, oh, okay. It was an intense moment. Even being in the away team, being 8.5 hours away in Austin, Texas from Louisiana, it was like, you felt it. Like, just, it kind of like rippled throughout the crew. It was like, man, everyone's really bogged down with work right now. And it kind of sucks, but it's kind of awesome. I mean, the amount of things they've had to pull off for that show is just like, how many? So it's been intense. Corollary is, the fact to that is, the skill level of our artists now has, again, exponentially increased. It's like every project that we get pushes our boundaries a little bit further, but even that little push is just enough fuel to make their imagination and their skill level just increase. Number one thing, if you're going to be a new steampunk, is don't be afraid to ask people. That's kind of what it all boils down to, is if you see someone wearing something cool and awesome and you're like, oh, I think that's really neat, don't be timid about it. You know, go up there and be like, hey man, I think your outfit's awesome. How would I, you know, can I hang out with you? Can I hang out with someone? Like, do you know someone? Do you know of a local group? That's another thing, is finding local groups. There's a lot of people who get together and hang out at clubs or pubs, or we even have one that shows up at Jason's Deli here in Corpus Christi. Like, really, they get together anywhere. It doesn't matter. In Austin, we have a Sherlock's pub that lets us get together like every couple of weeks at Thursday nights, and we have I think it's called Beer and Gears or something like that. It's clever. It's clever. And we get together and we just hang out and we talk about stuff, and we talk about like what projects people are doing and stuff like that. So getting into a local community is probably the easiest thing to get started, because then you'll find people who are like-minded, of like, hey, this is a steampunk thing, I don't know how to make this thing, let's find out how to make the thing, let's make the thing together. Collaboration is not key, but very useful, because you can learn off of other people. You're not bogged down with your own projects. You can feel like you're sharing the burdens, per se. Dress appropriately. If you're in Texas, don't wear a whole bunch of leather armor. We have had issues with that. So let's just say, personal experience, dealing with certain people, don't die. Rule number one. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're really just trying to start, come talk to us. Come talk to anyone that's, steampunk vendor, trying to find out, like, find an entry piece, like something that intrigues you. Like, I like this thing. How can I make this thing apply to something a little more broad? Like my locksmith thing. I like keys. Bam, locksmith. My dad's a locksmith too, so that kind of threw that in there too. But yeah. But yeah, just because, whatever. But You know, find something that you like, find a way to make it steampunk, and then you'll never lose that fire. Because if like me, I'm a programmer for my other job. My dad's a locksmith, so I use both of those as fuel for my character, so I stay actively engaged. If I was to choose like a fireman or something that I have no idea about, I would be like, I don't know how to make this thing be appropriate for this character that I've just made up that has no relevance to me whatsoever. But being a programmer, and lowing locksmithing, everything I do is based off of those two things. So that's what I'd recommend is find something you like, make it steampunk, expand on your ideas, and talk to people. Those would be the 4 things I would say is, you know, try online. There's thousands of online groups. Facebook has more than I can count. You find one locally. If you can't find one locally, make one locally. You know, one of my favorite sayings is you're in control of your own future, your own destiny. Is if you don't have it, make it. I mean, that's steampunk in itself. If you don't have it, make it. So if you don't have a group, you don't have a local group, find one friend. Find one friend to make something with, and then have them find another friend. Just like the pyramid schemes that everyone tries to get you involved with. Do that, but with something fun, exactly, and no one's on top of anybody. That would be what I'd recommend, is just find someone and work with them. Do what you can, don't rush anything, you know, recognize that this is not easy. Doing leather work in general is not easy. Doing something that is completely like different, like I'm currently right now making a gigantic cannon that fits in a box that is this big. The box stands about right here and is no bigger, no thicker than this, no wider than this, and I'm putting a 6-foot cannon in it.
I'm helping.
She's helping. If you're wanting to start steampunk, find some steampunk books. There's some good ones out there. Short stories, video games. Just like I said, find something you like, find a steampunk version of it already, or make one, and roll with it. That would be what I would say. Steampunk is what you make it. It's not, no one can tell you what is and isn't steampunk. Everyone agrees that it starts with the Victorian era of the world, not just London, England, of the world, which is important because we have a lot of people that like to be like, oh no, you didn't, it's not Jules Verne, it's not, you know, 20,000 Leagues, it's not Time Machine, therefore it's not steampunk. And we're like, no, you can base things in there. Like a lot of what I wear has a basis of London, England, because we kind of all have that. But we're also post-apocalyptic. It's like, okay, steampunk, you know, the Victorian era happened. Things happened and now everything's blown to hell and we put crap on to protect ourselves. Ta-da, steampunk, you know? So we don't even fit the full mold of what people typically think of steampunk. And there's also diesel punk, there's cyberpunk, and all of those punks can meld together. Like, even steampunk, we have LED stuff. That's cyberpunk, but we merge it anyway. We don't care. It's science fiction. And ultimately, in the end, you're taking a base and building something from it. And whatever you build cannot be wrong because it's fiction. So no matter what, take what you do, take what you love, and make it yours. Don't listen to the haters, because they're going to be everywhere. And ultimately, just have fun. That's really all it boils down to, is having fun with people that you also like having fun doing dorky crap. I mean, really, how can you complain about getting together and dressing up and be like, hey, let's do the thing? So, no, it's a lot of fun, and I think everyone should try giving some sort of geek cosplay kind of thing a chance. Steampunk, awesome if you want to do that. Otherwise, try something. Find some show that you love. Find Supernatural, find Doctor Who, find, I don't know, the other 7 billion shows that exist, and do something with it outside of watching it. Become a character, act like the character, and you'll see the world kind of expand in ways that you never really thought you could do. And it's very interesting when you get other people to interact with you in the same capacity, and you kind of have this whole world away from things. It's a nice escape from the tragedies and all this stuff that's going on outside. You don't have to turn on the news all the time. It's just fun to come out here and be like, these are real people. These are my friends. These are my family. I'm meeting people that are also having to deal with this stuff. We're here talking about geeky stuff that we all love, and it's really cool, and you get to meet a lot of really cool people. and you know, you make long-lasting friends. We've had friends, you know, come and go throughout the years, and we've never been sad about any of them. It's just like, yes, friends, these people are awesome, and you know, we love every minute of it. So ultimately, have fun. Secondarily, find something you love and do something with it rather than just experiencing it from what someone else already gives you. Expand and love it. That's what I'd say.